So here's where I want to take us this evening, and I really want to make this a co-creative environment with us this evening, is we've talked about synthetic telepathy. Those of us that are doing the work and choosing, we're really vibrating at this high frequency, which means our thoughts are super fast, which means if we start to get bowled over by something happening in the family, an email telling us that potentially, just a huge one that was on the plate for a little bit was mandatory vaccinations for all healthcare workers here in the state of Washington. And I'm not sure what your guys' states are doing, but just this kind of energy where there's a few people reaching out that we're having a little bit of a panic about it. And here's the thing, that's how our consciousness gets hijacked, because we're manifesting so fast that even if we get distracted or start to worry a little bit, get anxiety, start having these panics of like, well, how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to pay my bills? This is going to change my whole reality. What will it be like to stand up to something that I don't want or choose? And that kind of energy, we've already automatically given them a part of our consciousness, which they are hijacking and utilizing to feed the synthetic telepathy grid that is lowering the vibration of a lot of the masses out there. So with that, the quicker we can just sit and switch exactly what's going on, which I will give an example of this, is that if we actually could just read the email that was sent out to everyone, and it's so funny because I swear I got like 5 emails from 5 different sources telling me that, my God, you got to go get vaccinated. And I'm sitting there going like, okay, well, on first level, if we were in that realm and panicking about it, holy shit, I'm getting bombarded with this. But being able to pull back and just be mindful, I immediately saw within there that they immediately gave us 2 options to not. There's 2 exemptions in there that are just blaring right in the middle of it, and that are just like, hey, but, and to know, it's like as a group, that there are those of us that are connected in this. And so again, thank you for really bringing a lot of this information forward, Heather. But just that whole idea of like seeing the predictive energy of it and always being in the state of going like, okay, but where is my mind? My mind is everything. My consciousness is everything. And they're feeding a panic and an agenda out there. And so tonight I really want to address to a degree, and I wrote down a couple of the main things that were coming up, but I really want to address. We're not going to undress anything. We could. But they have like 3 kind of things that they're coupling right now. And this is where I'd like to actually go in with organic telepathy, that we can hold the grid with so much beauty and love and high vibration and potential and possibility, and really standing in our truth in order to hold this energy. And I really want to put it out towards the groups, specifically the groups that are feeling hopeless and helpless, or that they don't have choices. I also want to put it towards a lot of the socialism marketing that is being pushed out right now, and especially towards the tagline that they've really been using. And this is kind of how they word it, is have nothing and be happy. This is their motto that they're pushing right now. Have nothing and be happy, which is this whole idea of like, you don't have to work anymore. You don't have to do anything. We'll give you everything you need, but you won't get to own anything. We're going to just go ahead and we'll take care of all of that for you. So you don't have to have anything and you can be happy. And just to kind of see how that is really geared towards a lot of the millennial and a lot of the younger ages who just aren't wanting to engage because they're already so depressed or on antidepressants and things like that. So that's one energy that I really feel like if we can begin to put our organic telepathy towards, really go in and begin to boost the mind frames and the thoughts within people's minds. And I'd like to piggyback it and rise it over just to share with you guys that on this planet, this is how amazing humanity is. And you don't hear this much in the news, but this is what's happening. In Italy, they are doing mass vaccination card burning. They are saying, hell no. They are standing up as a country and they said, you will not divide us against each other and you will not turn us one against another. And the vaccinated people are taking their vaccination cards and burning them because they say, we will not be segregated. We will not be pitted against each other. We have France that if you look at the pictures, there are thousands and thousands in the streets marching and standing up for the exact same thing. In New York, there's other things that are happening. There's all of these things that are starting to take place in these different places on the planet. And what I would like to do is be able to take that frequency and be able to amplify that whole infectious energy of that we have a voice, we have power, we are the many, we are the ones, and that within this, it starts to dissipate the hopelessness and helplessness that people are sensing and feeling, that there is power in numbers. And there are many of us, you know, the whole tactic of isolation and quarantine and all of this was specifically designed to separate people in order to go into a state of depression. And so now we can sit and go like, hell no. And those of us here in this group, you know, I mean, we have our ups and downs, but for the most part, I would say we live in the state of up, that we're not allowing a lot of this to come and take us into another frequency that isn't working. So with that, I want you guys, I would love for you guys to share specific things that are coming up, because the more we can take some of our frequencies and direct them, I want to take you guys into some of the techniques that are more specific. So this will probably be a little less meditation feeling and more of us doing some work. Are you guys up for some work tonight? Okay, awesome. So just in order to get started with this, I just want to start with our declaration of intention. But before we do this work, we're going to really honor fortifying our field, honoring our field, holding our field, taking some nice deep breaths in. And this is something I have been noticing. It takes me a lot more effort to go into my physical body. It takes me a lot more effort to try to ground myself into myself. And what I'm finding is that it's easier to imagine my container levitating a little bit more. I'm bringing the vibration of the container up into higher frequencies, almost liquefying the container form, honoring the carbon base of it and its interaction in this realm. But at the same time, we're unplugging our mind from any limitations that keep us feeling as though we can't walk through a wall. But the truth is that when we start to let go of those limiting beliefs, the sky's the limit, anything's a limit. We could start to actually begin to do the things we know that we can do, we just haven't accomplished yet, which is levitation, which is blinking in and out, teleportation, which is being able to fully and completely be able to move our body through physical reality, or even teleport things here and there. So just for a moment, raising the vibration of your container to the point where you can sense and feel yourself anchored within it, that it is anchored within this reality, but at the same time, that it has Just honor the new vibration it's vibrating at. And in this very I am present moment of now, that we are commanding that anything that is not vibrating in unison with our higher self and our soul, anything that is inorganic within our physical form, that does not choose to be a part of the living light, that we are hereby commanding in this very moment that it be dissolved and deleted out of our physical form and out of our eminent reality now. We are commanding this now, and so it is. We raise our vibration now to be at the living light level of consciousness so that we can transcend all levels of duality, allowing ourselves to be the full organic telepathic beings that we came here to be, planting the seeds of love, planting the seeds of light, planting the seeds of endless possibilities, planting the seeds that we can choose to live in any reality that we choose to live in. Therefore, whenever we are done with one, there is no struggle. You are free to completely transform now. Take a deep breath. Allowing yourself to just breathe that light all the way down into the core of the earth. And acknowledging that the earth is at its core always been running at these multidimensional currents and frequencies. And if you allow yourself in the center of the earth, the core of the earth, these higher dimensional frequencies, you can actually see that it's like a time portal, if you will, that when you're in there, you can imagine teleporting to any time, any place, any location, any star system, through any stargate, to any council in all the universe. You could instantaneously be with the Sirius Council. You could instantaneously be with the Andromedan Council. You could instantaneously be in the Lyra constellation. You could choose to be anywhere that you choose to be. You could choose to be in the fifth dimension with soul family on that level, or you could choose to be in the seventh or ninth dimension where you have no body and you are just pure consciousness and thought. Just notice that within there, that it's as if it is just this orb that is constantly shifting and changing all of these potentials and timeline possibilities, and that it's kind of like watching a portal with all these scenes playing in it, and you can choose to pop into any one you want. Everything is existing simultaneously right within there, almost like a tesseract. And allow all of that to begin to just come right up underneath your platform of your feet. Create an entire shield all the way around you, allowing yourself to sense and feel yourself as a being outside of time. Time does not exist for you. The only thing that's happening is right here, right now. Therefore, making you like a time lord, that you could choose to travel to any timeline and therefore rewrite it, recreate it, upgrade it, update it, turn it into your perspective in any way that you choose. From this place, allow all of your past to dissolve and disappear. Allow your egoic identity to completely dissolve and disappear just for one moment. What would it be like to not know who you are, to not know where you are, but just to be infinite consciousness? To vibrate at the level of 7D or even 9D, where you are just a collective source consciousness, and just in that space. And this is why we come into physical realities, because sometimes we want to have this idea of I am. We want to have an idea of an identity, of a singularity. We want to be something separate and different for a little bit. But in truth, when we go back up into the 9D frequency, we are in a state of just pure consciousness. And just for a moment, feel what dissolving yourself completely feels like. And what is it like to just be that consciousness, and a consciousness that truly has neutral compassion? love. It's this sense of goodness. It's this sense of beingness. That all is already perfection. And as you allow yourself to float within that field, just lock that feeling all the way around you. Notice how that starts to clear out anything in your field. Anchor lock that. Feel that moving up through your crown, out into the universe, and breathing it back down again. That in essence, that you are just sitting as consciousness, imagining that you're breathing in and out. And through your imagination of breathing, you're imagining breathing in through your tailbone and the top of your head, and you're imagining breathing all of this into your heart like an elixir. And you're imagining radiating this out all the way around you. And you're imagining that this radiation that you are emanating all around you through your consciousness is your soul signature. And from this soul signature, we declare our declaration of intention, that we declare from the core of our heart our intention to serve our source, that we align ourselves fully and completely to the heart of the one infinite creator. We dedicate this life to being our true heart song across all the cosmos. We surrender our ego now to be in service to the law of one mission, a first cause light as a pillar of light. In the light of truth, we declare and intend, I am that I am. I am a soul sovereign being, and so it is. Taking a deep breath. So from this space, let's go ahead. And I want you just to imagine, we're gonna start kind of small. And we're gonna play with a couple remote viewing things in order to practice with some of this. And then we're gonna take it a little bit further. So just for right now, I want you to imagine in your mind's eye holding the grid of your home where you are, the place where your container in your physical form is. I want you to imagine holding in your mind's eye the energy of the home where you are. And allow yourself to raise the vibration of it in order to see it from a 5D to 7D perspective. And just command that anything in that space that is inorganic or not in alignment with my highest good, I command my soul to activate it and light it up. And I want you just to use your imagination, the first thing that kind of pops in for you, the first thing that you kind of notice. So right now within my space, I can sense and feel something within the house sphere that is energetically in the house that does not belong here. So I want you just to feel, is there anything in the house that does not energetically belong there with you? And allow yourself from your mind to remote view right onto it. Noticing if it's something, someone, a residue energy, something that's entered through a portal, something that's was attached to somebody and kind of got drug into the house. Just notice what it is. And now, if there's anything in your space, I want you just to imagine going ahead and encircling it, create it in a sphere. Or from your mind's eye, just light it up with light. You can use the unconditional vibration of love. And I will tell you, the most powerful energy to utilize in order to clear things out of your space is the Christos or the Christ consciousness. And I want you just to remote view onto it, imagine it, and now we are going to stand within it. And I want you to pull an overlay of either light, unconditional love, or Christ consciousness. I want you to call that field over. And I want you just to be careful and just to notice, like as I stand over it right now, my entire body starts to create almost like a temperature, a fever, heat. It starts to burn up. This is how I register when there's an entity or some sort of energy that has a level of consciousness to it that is not in my highest good, that is not intending good. And so therefore, I literally I feel it through my body, but now I get to burn it out. I get to do the new overlay, and I command the light of Christ consciousness in this home now. I command the light of Christ consciousness in this home now. Use whatever words are correct for you. I command unconditional love to amplify and purify. I command unconditional love to amplify and purify all of this space now. I command that the grid of unconditional love in Christ consciousness permeate every single square inch of this home and every parameter of this home now. Amplify, 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 turn it up, 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 commanding that any entities, any beings, or any inorganic elements that may be within this home or any portals that may be open, they are commanded to be closed now. I command all of these, use the transit portal now and leave this space now. This space is dedicated to the light of living light and living Christos energy. This is commanded now, and so it is. Hold the space and just turn the Christ light up. I will tell you that if you just sit and hold it for a little bit, it's uncomfortable for them, so they just choose to leave. There's not really any need to be aggressive or to be angry or to have to force anything to happen. Our job is just to hold the vibration and to hold the frequency. Just amplify that field. Just keep letting that move. Like crap, I'm on fire. My consciousness keeps moving between each of your houses right now, though. So I'm helping you guys move a little bit of the energy in each of your places wherever you are. Burning up over here, sweating. So now they want to guide us, and this is just to get our muscles a little bit more developed and in tune and in frequency with each other. So I want to play with this with each and every one of us. So they're guiding us to pick, and I want to pick the age of 5 years old. 5 years old for each of us. I want you to imagine the 5-year-old you. And I want you to imagine 5-year-old you all by yourself somewhere where the situation that you're in can be happy, it can be fun, but the whole idea is that it's just you as a 5-year-old. More importantly, potentially say in your bedroom or in your special space. So as much memory as you can put to where your bed was, where some of your toys were, where some of the things you used to play with were, where maybe the position of your bed or the window in your room, and just imagine that little 5-year-old, okay? And I want you just to timeline jump into that room with that 5-year-old. Be there now. And now that you're in that room, the very first thing I want you to do is use your adult and your higher mind consciousness and just notice, are there any entities? Are there any portals? Are there any beings within that space, within that room? Is the integrity of that room or the integrity of the space around that child compromised in any way, shape, or form by anything that is not intending its highest good? And I want you to stand in that space, and I want you to now do the same thing. Grab that resonant frequency, grab the overlay of unconditional love, fortified field, and Christ consciousness. Notice that Christ consciousness resonates so high. It's almost blinding. It's so luminescent. And just grab that field, find a field where that is pure, and then overlay it over the entire room with that 5-year-old little child. And I want you to imagine fortifying that little body, lifting her up, allowing her to feel loved, supported, protected, always wanted, how special she is, how protected she is. I want you to just shower her with all of this Christ consciousness, and I want you to allow her consciousness to begin to elevate to a bigger remembrance of who she is outside of a human form, remembering it's just a container. So now you see it as your higher self and container. Timelines don't matter. And flood that room with Christ consciousness. Imagining any of the energy that was in that room that did not serve that little girl is now completely being eradicated out of there. And the only thing that exists in that child's life now, the only frequency that exists, and this is all we get to hold over this 5-year-old younger us, is you are loved. That's all that child has an awareness of in the moment. You are loved. You are so loved. And allow that radiance of love to just amplify up all the way from the creator realm. I want you just to, for a moment, share with that child the awareness we're stepping into now, that our body is just a container, and that in truth, it's liquid light, and that in truth, if we get our mind out of the way, we can levitate, we can walk through walls, we can lucid dream, we can astral project, we can time travel. Give all of those memories back to that child. You create your reality. In this very moment, that timeline is being rewritten. You, in this very moment, have had the conscious awareness now of your gifts and capabilities since the age of 5 years old. You are literally rewriting your timeline to the fact that you have had conscious memories and conscious awareness that you can travel with your consciousness. You can lucid dream, astral project, walk through walls, levitate, do all of these things. All of this has now been with you since the age of 5, and just noticing living an entire lifetime with this sort of knowledge and conscious awareness. Who you are and what you do is based 100% on what your mind is choosing to create in this reality. And now there is an awareness of, I only create stuff that makes me happy. I only create stuff that lifts me up. I only create visuals and mindscapes on this earth that lift others, that create peace, that create love, that create joy, that create. Very good, very good. Wow. Whew. In this moment, we are the time benders. In this moment, we are the beings who have had these capabilities for time immemorial. So now, I want to just find out, and if you guys want to unmute or anything like that, or even to type in the chat, but if there is someone specific in your life that you would like us to work on as a group, this would be the perfect time for us to take some energy and use our focused intentions to really send this love and vibration to special people within our reality that we're intending healing for. So to start with, I would like to allow you to, we're going to do this all together, and we're going to do the morphogenetic field of all healthcare workers. So if you know some specific healthcare workers within your reality, you can imagine them. If you are a healthcare worker, hold the environment where you are. And in this moment, just remote view the morphogenetic field of all healthcare workers on the planet. And the very first vibration that they're offering us to teleport, and so we're doing organic telepathy. So I want you to imagine that every healthcare worker on the planet, what we're doing is we're tapping into the mind consciousness or the thought forms that these healthcare workers are thinking. And that thought, just allowing the first thoughts to come, I have freedom. I have choices. I make a difference. I heal the planet. I have boundaries. I have rights. For all healthcare workers that are choosing, we delete all contracts of servitude, of slavery, of second-class citizen, of having to sacrifice or give of oneself in order for another to feel better. That in this moment that we are commanding a new vibration, and that is that love, compassion, healing, and health can be given in balance, in honor, and while honoring the healthcare provider. Allow the conscious thought of fear is an illusion. Calm all anxiety now. We're going to take the vibration, especially the vibration a lot of times in an ER situation or in a critical situation, the energy gets out of place. And one of the things a healthcare worker does is to calm the energy down, to really help calm the mind down and dispel any of the thoughts that any of it is going to be a horrible situation. Instead, that there's possibilities, that the worst is over now. Now we can heal. And I want us to just telepathically put into all of the minds that all the stuff that's propaganda out there is just hype. The worst is over now. We can stand up together. We can protect each other. We are healthy. The body naturally heals itself, allowing every healthcare worker to actually honor what the soul originally wanted. That in truth, every healthcare provider out there has some sort of soul contract or calling of wanting to be helpful, of wanting to be a healer, of wanting to alleviate pain and suffering on the planet. And so now putting the power back in the mind. You have the power to make a difference. The more you stand up for your truth, the more powerful you are. You can be a healer with or without a label. The label does not define you. You have the right to stand up for your choices. And I want us to go ahead and take an overlay or an image. Take an overlay or an image of all of the people marching in all the countries, in all the cities around the world, standing up for their truth so that everyone knows that no one is alone. And just add that to the mental field. Hold that in there. Hold that in there, that the many is rising. And we have the right to be healers without having to bend to a system. We have the right to be healers without bending to a system. We have the right to be healers without bending to bureaucracy or a system. We are taking the planet back now with heart and with love. And so it is. Take a deep breath. Now, bubble up that whole visual, bubble up that whole thing. And I want you to take all of that mental overlay, hold it in a bubble, and on the count of 3, we're going to take it and throw it into the 0-point source field. 1, 2, 3, just throw it up there, and so it is. It's our job now in our mind to see every single health worker that way. To be that. Many of us are healthcare workers, so we be that. We are who we are right in our heart. Not because of a label, not because of a job position, not because of anything, and nothing gets in our way of being who we came here to be. And just holding that, the infinite possibility is how we emanate our energy. And so just imagine now, I want you to imagine that in Christ consciousness is your higher self. Looking at your container, looking at your body. And before we kind of bring this to a close, and if there's any other energy that comes up that you guys want to send something to, let me know. But most importantly, just imagining your body, your container, and direct love from your higher self in Christ consciousness right into your heart, right into your body, right into your energy field. You are so loved. You are beautiful. You are so required. You are powerful. Look what you just did this evening. You have transformed not only all of the morphogenetic field and all of the lives of these healthcare workers on the planet, but these 3 amazing, beautiful beings on the planet. You transformed yourself. You timeline jumped and have now just recreated yourself as a being that incarnated on this planet that has known about your higher self since the age of 5 years old. In the next days, in the next weeks, and I would say in the next months, but time is going so darn fast that it's really in the next hours, in the next days, in the next weeks. Really notice what's shifting and changing. Your level of consciousness is now that of someone who has been wide awake and conscious and aware since the age of 5 years old. All of the veils of this world are going to drop even faster. And our job is to, from our higher self, that we are in both places, that is part of our knowing now, and constantly never turn off the stream of love from your higher self to you and your physical body and your physical form. Our job is to stay in this vibration. Our job is to reframe everything as fast as it happens so that it's only being recreated as what we want it to be. Everything on this planet is going to turn out how we imagine it. And I, for one, imagine it as possibility, as love, as honor, as tingles, as fun, and as compassion. That I get to see with you guys all of the amazing things we're creating. And I also get to see us being compassionate and honoring people who are still choosing to have experiences in this physical reality. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not our job to rush them and make them be anything. It's only our job to create our reality the way we want it. To our higher selves, we say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for honoring us with the presence of assisting in this healing this evening. We ask in this moment to amplify the Christ light energy in our field, to purify our fields of any residual energy that does not belong to us or does belong to another, and return it to wherever it originated or to whomever it belongs to, so that it may be set in divine right order across all the cosmos. We ask this now, and so it is. We ask to amplify our field and recalibrate our field to the new timeline and the new understanding of who we are as fully conscious and awake, aware beings since the age of 5 years old. That we live a fully spiritual conscious life, and that we are fully and completely aware of every thought, feeling, and decision that we make in this planet. And that in this moment, we are lucid dreamers. We are astral projectors. We are levitators. We do have the ability to bend time and to move matter, to manifest in physical reality, and to walk through walls. And there is nothing that does not support that truth. Our mind is fully aligned to the infinite potential of this reality. And that feels so good. Brand new right now. And so it is. And in this moment, with so much love in our heart, we bring this sacred circle to a close. And so it is.